Hi everyone, it's Bren here, and in this week's garden update I'm going to harvest the last of the pumpkins and squash for 2020, and as well as that I'll share a couple of preserving recipes with you. So please just sit back and relax for a few minutes and I'll show you around. This is the area where I grew most of my pumpkins this year. I'm now going to harvest whatever is left in here. Then I'll just grab my mower and run over this entire section. I'm going to start off the harvest with this one here, which is the Japanese Fitsu. And remember, when you're cutting it off, try and keep as much of this stalk as possible. There's another one in here. Oh, this one's a beauty. Look how big that one is. I'm loving all these little surprises. I hadn't even seen this one here before. When I had researched about these Japanese Fitsus to grow this year, a lot of websites said that it was a very prolific producer. And I have to say, I mean, all of these are from one plant and I have already harvested a few of them. So from one plant to get this amount of pumpkins, I would consider that a success. Next up, I noticed I still have a few of these pimply squash. Usually when they fully ripen, they start to change colour to a more orangey tone. This one isn't quite there yet, but I'm still harvesting them all today because the mornings are getting too cold now and I want to grab them all before the frost arrives. After doing a bit of rooting around, I found a couple more of these little small pimply squash, which I'll pick off now. I ended up finding 3 more of these. I've had a really good look in here. I think I've got most of the pumpkins, but you never know. So now I'm going to very cautiously mow this area and I'll see you again when I'm finished. So I literally just started mowing and look what I have already done. I am so annoyed. I didn't notice it before. Oh well, I think that's one casualty. Hopefully I will not have any more. I just found another pimply squash that I managed not to run over, and this one's a nice example of how it can ripen to that lovely orange colour. You can see here that I've mowed most of the area. I just need to tidy it up, do a bit of edging and pull out some of these vines that are growing up the tree. Here's the final harvest from this area, and I did find 2 more, although I think it's this one. I managed to cut a part off with the blades of the mower, but not to worry. What I'll do is I'll just cut this section off and use the rest of it, and I'll probably have to cook it tonight for dinner. Before I leave this area, I just wanted to show you that I had my plants in here in these holes. So this is a grassed area over here and the soil isn't very particularly good, but I do have a lot of space. So what I did was I dug out a hole which was 50 centimeters deep and about 1 meter in width, and I put in a couple of wheelbarrow loads of compost and manures and some pelletized organic fertilizer before I put the seeds or seedlings into here. And it's just a great way, if you're new to gardening and you don't have big garden beds set up, it's still possible to grow food if you have a big space like this. It's really inexpensive and look what you get out of it. Some delicious organic homegrown food that you can store and it can feed your family during the winter time. I'm in the back garden now underneath the lemon tree to harvest a couple of pumpkins growing here, or not quite growing because the plant has died off. This is a French heirloom variety. And yeah, the plant died off for some reason and they have stopped growing. I'm not quite sure what I'll be able to do with these. I don't know if they're edible, but I'll still be able to use them as an autumn decorative feature in my kitchen. Here's the other one. I just moved this tray of pumpkins, which I harvested today, over here beside this display of some of the other pumpkins which I grew this summer. On this rack you can see these are actually those Japanese Futsu pumpkins when they fully ripen, so they change to this orangey bronze colour. They're the ones that we harvested today. Let me see if I can find one. There's one there that's still green. These two larger grey coloured pumpkins are the Queensland Blue. Really beautiful colour on them. Also got some of these golden nugget pumpkins. This is from the plant that's self-seeded. I added this one in, although it's not actually a pumpkin, it's a gourd, a dipper gourd, but I still harvested it from the summer, so I thought it would go well here with this display. And this is a lovely example of a pimply squash which I harvested a couple of weeks ago. You can see that its skin has changed to this kind of orange tone, and I just absolutely love the quirky, unusual warts on it. That's it for the pumpkins for 2020. I tried to go to a different area to get away from all that noise. I'm sorry about that. Before I head off today, I wanted to show you these two preserves which I made this week. This one here is a quick pickled cucamelon with chilies, garlic and onion. And in this jar are roasted capsicums in garlic and olive oil. I made two videos on these, from harvest to preserve, which I put up on my TikTok account. I post garden videos there on a daily basis if you want to go and check it out. Otherwise, if you don't follow my TikTok account, what I'm going to do now is put up these two videos so you can see how I made these delicious preserves. I'm going to harvest a selection of capsicums, starting with these bullhorns. Next variety are these sweet banana capsicums. Next are golden wonders. And a few of these mad hatters. It's now time to roast. I've left them whole and placed the smaller capsicums on one tray and the larger ones on another. Once they're roasted, place them straight into a bowl, then cover with cling wrap. After 30 minutes, remove all the skin and all of the seeds. Then add salt and pepper. Place all of these in a jar. Add some garlic. Top up with some olive oil. Until your capsicums are covered, you're finished. Let's make this cold pickling recipe, using ingredients straight from my garden. Firstly, I'll harvest what's growing along here, which are these cucamelons. That should be enough. Next, I'll pick some of these chilies. I think these pickles are going to be pretty spicy. Some of this dill. The next job is to wash all of these and cut the cucamelons in half. Now I'm going to put these cucamelons between layers of salt. Set this aside for 24 hours. The next day, rinse off all the salt, pat them dry, put them in a jar, then add all of these. And finally, top it all up with some vinegar. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed watching them. Thank you so much for following along this week, and I'll see you all again next Friday.